long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, one sequel changed everything. This is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. And today, we're uncovering 15 shocking facts about how this masterpiece was really made. From deadly blizzards on the set of Hoth to secret scripts, near-fatal stunts, and the twist that shook the world, these behind-the-scenes stories will make you see the film in a completely new light. So grab your lightsaber, because the Force is strong with this one. Number 1, the cast was nearly frozen. For real. The planet Hoth, a desolate, icy wasteland that became one of the most iconic settings in Star Wars history. But here's the part few fans realize. Those scenes weren't shot on some Hollywood soundstage. They were filmed in the real, brutal cold of Finse, Norway, during one of the worst blizzards in the region's history. Temperatures dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius, winds reached over 50 miles per hour, and the cast and crew were trapped inside their hotel, completely snowed in. Mark Hamill recalled that they filmed the opening shots of Luke stumbling through the snow just outside the hotel's front door.
Luke? Luke?
Because it was too dangerous to go anywhere else. Harrison Ford? He was helicoptered in through the storm because all roads were blocked. The conditions were so severe, the cameras kept freezing, lights stopped working, and the film stock had to be heated before being loaded. But the results? That painfully real sense of isolation, of cold, of survival. It wasn't acting, it was real. And maybe that's why Hoth feels so raw and authentic, because the people making it were living that same fight. Number 2, the secret that shocked the world. I am your father. Few lines in film history have hit harder than this one.
No, I am your father.
But here's what most fans don't know. Almost no one on set knew that line was going to be said. When Darth Vader's dialogue was filmed, the script said something completely different. It read, "Obi-Wan killed your father." Even the cast believed that was the real story. Only George Lucas, director Irvin Kershner, and Mark Hamill knew the truth. Kershner pulled Hamill aside before the scene and told him, "Only you know this line's real meaning. When you hear Vader say it, react as if your world just collapsed."
No, it's not true. That's impossible!
When the movie premiered, even David Prowse, the man in the Vader suit, was shocked. His voice had been dubbed over by James Earl Jones, who revealed the true line in post-production.
When I first saw the dialogue that said, "Luke, I am your father," I said to myself, he's lying.
That one secret, kept from the cast, the crew, and even the press, became one of the most legendary twists in cinematic history. And it's why The Empire Strikes Back didn't just continue Star Wars, it transformed it. Number 3, Harrison Ford's fate was never certain. When Han Solo was frozen in carbonite, audiences gasped.
Oh, they've encased him in carbonite.
But what they didn't know is that behind the scenes, no one, not even George Lucas, knew if Han would ever return. At the time, Harrison Ford hadn't signed a contract for a third movie. Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill were already locked in for the trilogy, but Ford wasn't sure he wanted to come back. So Lucas and screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan wrote the carbon freezing scene as a safety net. If Ford didn't return, Han could stay frozen forever. If he did, they could bring him back. And when you rewatch the carbonite scene knowing that it feels different, Han saying,
I know.
to Leia's,
I love you,
wasn't just charming, it was goodbye. That line wasn't even in the script. Ford improvised it on set, sensing that Han might never see her again. And yet, that single, spontaneous moment became one of the most unforgettable exchanges in all of cinema. Number 4, Yoda almost wasn't a puppet. It's hard to imagine now, but Yoda, one of the most beloved characters in movie history, almost wasn't a puppet at all.
I feel like
what?
like we're being watched.
Oh, wait, put your weapon!
In early production, George Lucas seriously considered using a trained monkey wearing a mask to play Yoda. Yes, really. They even ran camera tests with a monkey wearing a cane and a robe. But when the animal kept pulling off the mask, the crew realized it was never going to work. That's when legendary artist Stuart Freeborn and puppeteer Frank Oz stepped in, creating a revolutionary animatronic puppet that could express emotion, wisdom, and warmth. Frank Oz's performance was so powerful that Lucas later said Yoda's success was the single most important factor in proving that audiences could emotionally connect with non-human characters. Without that puppet, there might never have been Gollum, Dobby, or even modern-day CGI icons like Grogu. Yoda wasn't just a character, he was a revolution in filmmaking.
And the powerful all it is, life creates it. makes it grow.
Number 5, the crew thought the movie would fail. It's almost impossible to believe now, but during production, The Empire Strikes Back was considered a disaster. The movie ran over budget, over schedule, and Lucas had personally financed it with millions of his own money, putting his entire career on the line. The special effects were breaking new ground.
You found something.
Yes, my lord.
That's it.
But the technology was so experimental that scenes took weeks longer than planned. The studio executives panicked. Crew members whispered that the movie might destroy Lucasfilm. Even the editors were worried the pacing was too slow and the tone too dark, but Lucas refused to compromise. He told his team, "We're not making another adventure. We're building mythology." And he was right. When the movie finally premiered in 1980, critics were divided, but audiences were awestruck. The darkness, the emotion, the heartbreak, it was unlike anything they'd ever seen.
Then it couldn't be one of those creatures.
Could be a speeder, one of ours.
No.
It wasn't just a sequel, it was the heart of Star Wars. And every risk, every sleepless night, every snowstorm and setback was worth it. Number 6, Mark Hamill's near-fatal car crash changed Luke's face forever. Before filming even began, tragedy struck. Just months after the original Star Wars was released, Mark Hamill was in a horrific car accident that left his face severely injured. The crash shattered his nose and left cheekbone. He underwent reconstructive surgery, but his face was never quite the same.
Thanks to special effects, we could get safely to the moon and back long before we could get reliably from here to Akron by air.
When The Empire Strikes Back began production, the filmmakers had to decide what to do. Should they explain Luke's changed appearance or ignore it completely? So George Lucas made a clever decision. Open the movie with Luke being attacked by the Wampa. That brutal scene wasn't just cinematic drama. It was a practical way to justify Luke's facial scars within the story. Hamill once said he hated talking about the accident, but the truth is, his real-life trauma became part of Luke's evolution. The hero who faced darkness on screen had already survived it off-screen. Number 7. Darth Vader's iconic march was almost rejected. The Imperial March, arguably one of the most powerful pieces of film music ever written. But here's the twist. It almost didn't make it into the movie. When John Williams first presented the composition to the production team, some executives thought it was too heavy, too dark, and might alienate younger viewers. Williams stood firm. He said the saga needed musical mythology. Something that could echo through generations. When the orchestra first played it in full, even the skeptical producers fell silent. That thunderous brass theme became more than music. It became the sound of fear, power, and destiny. And to this day, one note from it can transport fans right back to 1980.
General Veers, prepare your men. Admiral.
Number 8. The asteroid field was created with potatoes and shoes. The asteroid chase, one of the most breathtaking sequences in The Empire Strikes Back.
What are you doing? You're not actually going into an asteroid field.
But did you know that among the flying rocks are potatoes and a shoe? Visual effects legend Dennis Muren and his team at Industrial Light and Magic were running out of asteroid models during compositing. So, as a joke, they tossed in random objects, including a baked potato and one of the crew's sneakers. They assumed no one would ever notice. But when fans started freeze-framing the sequence years later, the truth was exposed. It's a tiny detail, but it captures the scrappy genius of early ILM, a studio where creativity always triumphed over budget. And it's proof that in Star Wars, even a potato can become immortal. Number 9. Carrie Fisher had to fight just to breathe. While the movie looks effortless, behind the scenes it was anything but, especially for Carrie Fisher. Her iconic white costumes were made from nylon and silk, which didn't breathe under the studio lights. The sets were already hot, and Fisher would often faint between takes from overheating.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder!
But that wasn't the only struggle. The production team required her to lose even more weight for the sequel, believing Leia needed to look more elegant. Fisher later said she was put on an extreme diet, and even joked, "They want me to be thinner than a stormtrooper." Behind Leia's strength and fire was an actress pushing her body to its limits. And despite it all, she still delivered one of the most iconic performances of her career.
What was it?
Droid of some kind. I didn't hit it that hard. Must have had a self-destruct.
An Imperial probe droid.
Number 10. The crew built a full-size Millennium Falcon and almost couldn't move it. When fans saw the Millennium Falcon land in Echo Base, it looked perfectly effortless. But what they were really seeing was a logistical nightmare. For The Empire Strikes Back, the crew built a nearly full-scale Millennium Falcon, measuring over 65 feet in diameter and weighing several tons. The set was so huge, they had to reinforce the studio floor just to hold it. And moving it for shots, that was almost impossible. They built hydraulic lifts underneath it, but one malfunction caused the entire ship to tilt dangerously, nearly crushing several crew members. Still, everyone agreed. Seeing that ship in full scale was worth it. Even Harrison Ford said walking onto that set felt like stepping into a dream I didn't deserve to live. It wasn't just a prop, it was home. Number 11. The crew hid an inside joke on the Hoth set. The Hoth base looks deadly serious on screen, but off camera, it was pure chaos. During one late-night shoot, the freezing crew decided to have some fun. They secretly placed a tiny pink toy rabbit inside the control room set, hiding it among the technical panels. You can actually spot it for a single frame during one of the background shots. When George Lucas discovered it during editing, he just sighed and said, "At least the Empire won't find it." It became an ILM tradition. Every future Star Wars film would hide at least one absurd Easter egg, honoring the sleepless nights and strange humor that kept them going through the cold. Number 12. The swamp on Dagobah. Almost killed the equipment. Yoda's swampy home on Dagobah looks beautifully otherworldly, but filming it was pure misery. The set, built inside Elstree Studios in London, was flooded with hundreds of gallons of water, creating real humidity and mud. Within days, the lights started short-circuiting, camera lenses fogged constantly, and the crew had to wear boots to wade through the swampy muck.
It's this like swampy, yucky place that you just don't even want to get near. You can sort of smell the yuck in the air.
Mark Hamill spent nearly every scene lying in that murky water with wires and cables running underneath him. Frank Oz later said, "We weren't just puppeteers, we were swamp survivors." And yet, the result was worth every miserable moment. That living, breathing swamp became one of the most atmospheric environments ever created for a film. Number 13. The most expensive scene was almost cut. The iconic Cloud City duel between Luke and Darth Vader, in one of cinema's greatest confrontations.
All too easy.
But what most fans don't know is that scene nearly didn't exist. Late in production, the studio panicked over costs. The Cloud City sequence was the single most expensive portion of the entire movie, between complex lighting, massive set builds, and the longest shoot schedule. Lucas was told to trim it down. He refused. He knew that the emotional core of the movie, Luke facing his destiny, depended on that fight. So he personally financed the additional shooting days. It's hard to imagine the film without it, that orange glow, the steam, the silence before the truth. Sometimes the moments that define cinema are the ones directors have to fight hardest to keep. Number 14. The ending was changed at the very last minute. When The Empire Strikes Back first wrapped filming, the ending was completely different. In the original cut, the movie ended right after Luke's surgery scene. No glimpse of the Falcon, no promise of rescue. But after early test screenings, audiences felt confused. They wanted closure, some small thread of hope. So Lucas ordered an immediate reshoot. Within a single week, they built a new hangar set, reassembled the cast, and filmed the now famous final scene of Luke, Leia, and the droids gazing out into the galaxy. That shot, improvised in a rush, became one of the most poetic endings in movie history. Proof that sometimes the perfect ending isn't planned. It's felt. Number 15. The crew hid Luke's hand in a secret location. We all remember the shocking moment. Luke's hand severed by Vader's blade, disappearing into the depths below Cloud City. But here's what's truly wild. The original prop of Luke's severed hand was never thrown away. It was placed in a sealed box at Elstree Studios and quietly forgotten. Years later, when crew members went to retrieve it for Return of the Jedi, it was gone. Some say it was misplaced during storage. Others insist it was stolen by a collector who still has it to this day. To this day, no one knows where Luke Skywalker's hand actually is. Somewhere out there, a piece of the galaxy far, far away is still missing. The Empire Strikes Back wasn't just a sequel, it was the soul of Star Wars. It gave us heartbreak, mystery, hope, and some of the boldest filmmaking risks of its time. And behind every frame, every lightsaber clash, every line of dialogue, were people freezing, sweating, laughing, and creating something truly timeless. So tell us in the comments, which moment from The Empire Strikes Back still gives you chills? And if you could visit one location from this movie, would it be Hoth, Dagobah, or Cloud City? And hey, if you made it this far, you're officially part of the Rewatch Club. So hit that like button, subscribe, and may the algorithm be with you. Because next time, we might just explore another classic from a galaxy not so far away. Which one should it be? Let us know below.